This your boy HD. Everybody get up on the dance floor and go crazy. And go crazy. And go crazy. And go crazy. Go crazy. Go crazy. Crazy. All the way from the old to go crazy like a dog. Inside on where I come from. Dance on the floor till you go numb. No fighting, no hating, no red rum. This is O City. All the way to the bay. Hit the bay, feel me. Catch a case cause it's beating up your Chevy. Bet you moving side to side, getting out sweaty. Up loud. This a drop crowd. Make it all shout. Go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Hit play on the track and I'm ready. Like a quarterback. Tom Brady. Get you all in the frenzy. Go crazy. Go crazy. Go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go crazy. Go
We heard the buzz and felt the club up. They hear the words up. Soon as we turn the subs up, everybody hands high like a drug bust. Yeah, I'm from the west, homie. Don't you see the dubs up? Baptize him on the spot, fill the tubs up. I fraternize with the flock, tell them fill the cups up. The show though, original, the type of photo. I go, crazy, yeah, loco, and solo. The coach and I represent the Ocho. Immersing together, we put the devil in the choco. Either I leave him on the mat flat out, I sleep until he black out, but when they see him tap out, they go crazy. Go crazy. Go crazy. Go crazy. All the way from the Ocho. Go crazy.
What's going on? What's going on, Scoop family? It is Tuesday. You know what that music means. That means it is time to go ahead, get comfy, go on, get your drink, go on, tell the kids, close your door, go on, put the headphones on. You know what? Or cast us on the big screen. I don't know about you, but when I went into the live today, I had a little prompt that says, watch your show on the bigger screen, cast to da-da-da-da-da. Go on, hit that button and send us your screenshots of the Scoop on the big screen for us for the one time. So yes, however you decide to go ahead and tune in on this evening, we are glad that you decided to spend some time with us here tonight. We've got a really, really good show planned for you. We've got our Black History Facts with our girl Jamaica. She is in the building and she is already telling us that it is going to be a good segment tonight. So go ahead, hit the share button. If you don't see your peeps in the live, if you don't see the folks in here that you know love Mika and her moments, okay, go ahead and hit the share button. Tell them come on in. It's time. Bring the people. For those of you who are new, I want to go ahead and tell you how we do things around here. We are a very interactive show. If you have not noticed, Win is going to be popping up where you from, questions, comments, all that good stuff. In that box right there where it says, where are you tuning in from? Go ahead and comment in the live feed right now, what city you repping, so that you can have your quick 5 minutes of fame before we get started real quick. But to do that, you must be following the live stream that is titled The Scoop. Okay. The Scoop is going to look like the three of us. Okay. That is the live stream that you are going to be following because we are the profile pick. There might be a watch party going on. There might be someone sharing something different. We need you on the Scoop live stream. That's the one that's going to allow you to be our fourth co-host on this evening. Okay. Aside from that, we ask that you share. Go ahead and share this stream to your live feed so that you people know where you are. Come on in to the conversation. Come join us. We need your thoughts, your feelings here because we've got a lot to talk about on this evening. Aside from that, that's it. Sit back, have a good time, get on in with us. Kels, how you doing? Y'all check this ponytail. It's live for this ponytail, okay? If you are digging this ponytail on this Tuesday, give my girl some hearts for the one time, okay? Give my girl
some hearts. The ponytail does what she wants today. She said, "Oh,
let me out." Yes. On our Westbrook this evening. Why not?
I am doing good. Y'all know on Tuesday, the favorite day of the week for me. So yeah, ready to come in and chill with y'all and my peeps, Q and Win. Win, how you doing tonight?
I am good. I had to check on my young man there real quick. We had some stuff going on, so we had to check on him. So.
Hey, Trey.
Right. Oh,
that's the resident scoop, baby.
Yeah, right. Right. Hello? He keep calling me like he wants something.
Right.
Playing on the phone. Keep playing.
Oh, baby.
How you doing?
I'm good. Today started off rocky, but we came on in. We slid in to home plate. So
okay.
I'm good.
Long as you made it home and
girl in this thing, okay? In my happy place.
Thank you, Miss Lee. Thank you, ma'am.
Hey, sis, what's going on, boo?
So listen, y'all do know how, like now we have the capability to be watched live on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you guys can't catch us here on Facebook, you can catch us on YouTube, and you can still do live comments on both Facebook and YouTube. So if you're watching live on YouTube, put your comments in there, okay?
Come on, software update. Come on.
Right. Come on.
Yeah, and if you haven't hit the share button, hit the share button. Tag your friends. We got a lot to talk about tonight.
Yes, so definitely. And then if you, while you're doing all that, make sure you search our Facebook page. It says at Real Scoop Show as well, and hit the like button. We just talked about YouTube. Our YouTube channel is at Real Scoop Show. And also the Scoop Show, that's our Facebook group. So you can search us on all social media. Well, most of them. I don't think we on Snap yet. Y'all know we're on TikTok, but you know, the main what we do. Also, I know you guys have been seeing the ads around Facebook of the Little Black Book of Business. That is being brought to you by our very own Win. So make sure you check that out. You can inbox him for more information. There's the flyer. We'll put information in the comments on the video. But yeah, this is for businesses that take pride in having quality customer service. We know that has been a problem in our culture, and this is something to help us to hold these businesses to a standard and them wanting to do that. So you can sign up as a business, and you can definitely join the group as a consumer. So check that out. So
that logo, I swear that's one of my favorite logos like out right now.
Yeah.
That logo.
Yes. So we are definitely going to start the show off right. It is with Miss Jamaica, our Black History buff around here, world-renowned librarian. She's a librarian. She's doing seminars on history now, and she's just awesome. And she is sharing her time with us, and she gives us all the knowledge to help us be better people to know about our history. So
hold on. She was just here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give you more time to share before she gets here. Okay.
Right. Go ahead and tell your friends in. Oh, hey, Alyssa. Yeah, our VIP section that showed up. Miss Shalita, Miss Alyssa. Okay, we got Tennessee in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Well, OKC.
Where she go? Where she go?
Tamika,
I promise I didn't do it this time. Because y'all know I be breaking some stuff.
Is it my time to do our ad for a production engineer?
Right.
A production assistant. The scoop is not.
Here we go. Hold on. I didn't do it this time. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I didn't do it this time.
Okay.
Hey, Karina.
Hey, y'all.
Double the trouble tonight.
My baby.
Right.
Karina wanted to say hi. So, I can't deny her the pleasure.
Our America's Next Top Model in the making over here.
Woo!
Right.
Y'all missed the off screen. She was like, okay, let me fluff your hair. Let me make sure you good. I'm like, really? I'm okay.
Get mama ready for her moment. Let that baby
cry. I guess so. But how are y'all? How are y'all tonight?
Good.
Yay! I'm so excited about this segment. I have been putting this together since February.
Oh, okay.
So, let's cue up these pictures. So tonight we are going to talk about Black transgender men and women who have made history.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we going there. We sure are. I'm seeing people's comments. I'm seeing y'all's comments out there, and I'm not happy with how we are talking about our trans brothers and sisters. So this is me admonishing y'all. We need to do better. Period. If people ask you to use their pronouns, we need to do that. It's out of respect. So, anywho, I'm going to kick off talking about some trans brothers and sisters in the Black community who have made history. And when Kels pops up some pictures, we're going to talk about these incredible men and women.
Oh, I'm excited. Yes, sissy. Mm-hmm.
All right. So up first, we have Mr. Kai Allums. Kai made history as being the first transgender person to come out as transgender to play in the NCAA. And he played for an NCAA team, I believe it was in Washington. And he came out as trans after he was playing basketball. And so this is Kai Allums. He right now does a lot of guest speaking. He was featured in a documentary by Laverne Cox, who is a trans actress and activist. And so, again, like I said, this is Kai Allums, the first openly trans person who came out and played for the NCAA. And he played for the George Washington Colonials. And next, so I actually just learned about him, and I really had no idea who he was. I hadn't heard of him, but in doing my research for this segment, I happened upon his name. This is Kyler Brodus. He transitioned around 25 years ago. He's an attorney who focuses on LGBTQ plus law and transgender rights. He founded the Trans People of Color Coalition, and that coalition is the only national organization that's dedicated to the civil rights of transgender people of color. So he was also a professor at Lincoln University of Missouri, and he founded or co-founded the Transgender Law and Policy Institute. He was also the first transgender American to testify before the U.S. Senate in favor of the Employment Non-Discrimination Act. So the Employment Non-Discrimination Act basically makes it illegal for employers to discriminate against transgender people. That's been a bill or an act that's been, oh gosh, fought in Congress and in Senate and in the Supreme Court, just back and forth, back and forth. But Brother Brodus was the first transgender person to testify before the Senate in favor of this act. And a lot of people, well, when I was researching him, many people didn't know that he was trans. And so when he was interviewed about his transition, he's quoted as saying, "The physical transition was about letting the outer world know my internal sense of self, of who really was inside this body. My transition was a matter of living the truth and sharing that truth for the first time in my life." How brave, how incredible. So again, that is Mr. Kyler Brodus. All right, so we are going to talk about Miss Thing in the middle. And this is Miss Lucy Hicks Anderson. Miss Anderson was one of the first well-known African American people to identify as transgender. Now, let me tell you about Miss Lucy. She was a firecracker. She was a socialite. She was a chef. She had businesses during Prohibition. So we're talking early 1920s. She was from Kentucky, and she transitioned at a very, very young age. And so interviews with her and reports about her discuss how she told her parents at the age of 15 that she was a girl. She knew that she was a girl. She wanted to live as a girl. Her parents took her to psychiatrists, to doctors, and all the doctors and psychiatrists said, let her live as a girl. She's a girl. So she did that. Also at the age of 15, she left school. She started doing some domestic work, and she got married at the age of 34 to her first husband. So they got married and moved to California. And while she was in California, she worked as a chef and as a nanny, and she was an entrepreneur. She was pretty much like a 1920s Martha Stewart. I mean, she was a jack of all trades. She did it all. She would be hired to throw these beautiful, lavish parties for people of all ethnicities. And so this is Miss Lucy Hicks Anderson. Oh, honey. Okay, so we just had June, which is celebrated as Pride Month, but a lot of people don't know what Pride means and where the Pride celebration came from, what the Pride Gay Liberation Movement was. All of this started in mass with this lady, Miss Marsha P. Johnson. She was an activist. She was also a sex worker. So she was a prostitute. She was a drag performer, and she did all this for nearly 30 years. Miss Johnson was one of the leaders of the Stonewall Inn riots in New York. I encourage everyone to look into the Stonewall riots. It was the first kind of big movement for LGBTQIA plus people in the United States. Even though she did all this incredible activism and, had put herself out there for others, she spent most of her life being homeless. She spent most of her life on the streets. But she and another transgender woman, oh gosh, I think her last name is Lopez, really helped start the whole Pride movement. And it was because of their activism and because of them wanting to really just make sure that everyone, transgender people, had the same rights as everyone else. I mean, she was a central figure in Pride history, and I'm choked up talking about her because I watched the documentary on her on Netflix, and her life was just absolutely incredible. She died really young. She was around 47. And unfortunately, in the Black transgender community, especially for Black trans women, life expectancy isn't that old, isn't that long. And a lot of that is due to violence. But that's a whole other segment we could talk about. But that is this is Miss Marsha P. Johnson. And funny thing about her, whenever people would ask her, well, what does the P stand for? And she would say, pass on it or pass it by. Whenever people would ask about her gender, she would say, the P in my name means for pass it by, meaning it doesn't matter. So I did a post about this gentleman during Black History Month, and I received a lot of backlash. And this is why. So this is Mr. Wilmer Broadnax, and Wilmer was a gospel singer, and his nickname was Little Axe, Little Axe, AXE. Sang high tenor, sang lead and co-lead for quite a few gospel groups in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, on up. He was an active gospel singer. One of the most famous groups he's known for singing with were the Five Blind Boys of Mississippi. So, you're saying, okay, that's great. Why is he featured in this segment? Well, after Wilmer passed away, he actually was killed by his girlfriend. But when he passed away, the not autopsy, but the medical examination found that he had been passing as a man. So, and I'm trying to use the correct terminology. He was born or assigned female at birth, but he lived his life as a man, as male. And so when different people in these groups were interviewed about Little Axe, they were like, yeah, like that's a man, And then once everything came out that he was trans, it was a really, really, really big controversy in the gospel community. Because as you know, in gospel and with Christianity and things like that, being transgender is a no-no for a lot of people. But he lived his life doing what he loved. If you listen to any of his old records, his voice was incredible. And so for him to live, that many years, and people really didn't know that he was trans, I don't think his success was not an indicator of his gender. And I think that says a lot. And I think with it being released that he was trans after his death, I think that was one of the first times that Black Christian culture really had to kind of take a look at what the stance is as far as transgender individuals and how we treat them, how they're involved in ministry, how we minister to them, everything like that. So he was not only famous for gospel music, but in death, he was famous for bringing about this very important conversation. Yes. Okay, so this is Miss Andrea Jenkins, and Miss Andrea is the Vice President of the Minneapolis City Council. She made history as becoming the first African American openly trans woman to be elected into office in the United States. So she served in the position of Vice President for the Minneapolis City Council since January 2018. She's always been active in the Minneapolis community. She was well known before her election. She focuses on fighting for the rights of trans women of color, and speaking out about her experiences as a trans woman. Andrea was also known for her incredible singing voice. So there was, when the George Floyd incident happened and the protests and everything happened, Andrea stood up at a city council meeting and sang His Eyes on the Sparrow. And people in the crowd said they were moved to tears Although she was a native of Chicago, she does, the majority of her work in Minneapolis. She really focuses on including businesses of color and businesses from other underrepresented communities in the business process. She wants to make sure that these businesses have the same access to contracts, to other opportunities that cisgender, white-owned majority businesses have. She's just incredible. I'm always really awed every time I read about her because I always learn something new. And something I didn't know is that she's an oral historian. So she and I have kind of something in common. I love oral histories. I love collecting oral histories, and I really want to kind of sit and be able to kind of find hers and listen to hers. But she was the curator of the Transgender Oral History Project at the University of Minnesota. So not only is she a political activist, but she's making sure to record and document history for transgender people. And in 2019, she co-edited and released a book called Queer Voices, Poetry, Prose, and Pride. So again, that is Miss Andrea Jenkins. Any questions, comments? Y'all were quiet. Y'all were quiet during the whole segment. Like, are you? What's? Did I shock the world? What happened?
That was a lot really fast. That was a lot to digest, but it was good because you would have never. Who in a lot of those cases, you know what I mean? In a lot of those cases, and I did not know that Netflix special was there for
Miss Marsha Johnson.
Yes, Miss Marsha P. Johnson. Yes, so I have to be sure and slide that link in my DM so I can be sure.
Let me see if I can look it up real quick.
Yeah.
And I think that it's interesting also that you shared this because there's been a lot of fandom surrounding shows like Pose right now that are in a different time. You know what I mean? They're at the beginning of what we know as the LGBTQIA plus movement, and we're seeing a lot of what we really don't know. You know what I mean? And that is still touching just a very tip of the iceberg of what this demographic has had to deal with. And we can talk about it on the big scale of the whole group, but when you pare it down to the Black and brown experience within this community in and of itself, Pose shows even how they had to segment even more. So like even while othered, you're othered. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I can appreciate you sharing people who from now and before, because Pose makes it all extra, va-va-voom, you get the balls and all this other stuff, but they do touch on a lot of what we don't feel comfortable with discussing, and the other side. So I appreciate you for this.
Of course. And the documentary is called The Death and Life of Marsha P. Johnson, and it is on Netflix. But yeah, I a lot of times as a historian, people like to kind of nitpick Black history. And when there are certain aspects of people's lives that make others uncomfortable, they like to try to erase them from history. There's a lot of controversy around Marsha P. Johnson, especially because, she was trans and she was a sex worker and she was proud of that. And she worked for the rights of other sex workers. And, a lot of people don't respect sex work as a profession. They don't respect sex workers. They laugh when sex workers go on strike. And when I say sex worker, I don't just mean prostitutes. I mean escorts. I mean strippers. They're all considered sex workers. And so it's kind of a ha-ha he. But when you realize that a lot of these sex workers are out here fighting for the rights of everyone, and how unfairly they are treated in the industry, especially sex workers of color, you really have to peel back those layers and be willing to kind of go against your preconceived notions of people. and understand that people are people. It cracks me up when I see super macho male Black men being like, I'm all for civil rights and, we don't do that gay stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll quote James Baldwin. And I'm like, did you miss the memo?
Child.
Did you miss something?
Clearly.
It's an interview, and it is like
they doing like the Black Power fist with the pick in the hair and everything, and then they quote Bayard Rustin, and I'm like, Bayard Rustin was gay. Like Bayard Rustin was arrested for sleeping with 2 men. Like he was, but yeah, I mean, and those be the ones, and I'm like, how can you be pro Black lives and I'm all civil rights and I'm pro Black this, pro Black that, but you leave out Black LGBTQ plus, IA plus people? To me, it just doesn't make sense. I'm not telling people how to be an activist. I'm just saying we can't leave these voices out of Black history. And that's why I presented us with this information today.
Good stuff.
Any questions? I can't see questions or comments or anything. I can't even see Winfrey. Where's Winfrey at? Winfrey, you still there?
I'm here.
Are you speechless? Is Trey Bobby? What's going on?
No, that's you. Patrick says, welcome out. Go ahead and read. You can read the comments since you can't see them.
I can't see any comments.
We have one comment that says, Jay Bella, always a wealth of knowledge.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. That's from Patrick.
Pat who? Duncan?
Yes.
He's a sucker. But I guess I accept the compliment. Thanks, Pat.
No, I think it's cool that we're touching on this history too, because I've started. I don't know. I guess I've always been kind of just curious about that type of stuff, because we, especially growing up in a strict Christian household, it's just always so frowned upon. But then when you meet people or you get out in the world and you start meeting these different people, you're like, what is so bad about them? So
right.
Yeah, I think it definitely opens up, a different perspective and even a greater respect for what they have to go through. It's the same thing.
For sure.
Nobody has to fight to be you. You should not have to fight to be yourself.
Yep, black trans people are still Black people, and they are still making history, and they're fighting for not just other transgender people, but they're fighting for all of us too. So shout out to my trans brothers and sisters. I'm here for it, and I'm here for these oral histories and collecting their history. Yeah. I mean, I've had some fantastic and amazing conversations with transgender activists, and yeah. It's awesome. So let's make sure we're including them in this history.
All right. Always.
Winfrey with that big sigh. Winfrey, you good?
That's the sigh of me preparing to get inboxed. So
you know what? If they want to inbox, they can inbox me. Tell them to inbox me. It's Jameka. JAMEKA
You see all this?
WIS.
You see all this? You see all this? I got all this. We good.
I'm just saying, if they ever have questions about anything I present, if there are ever any questions, comments, concerns about anything I present, they can always contact me directly. But make sure they're ready.
No, you don't. You contact me. It's my show.
All right. Okay.
Man, let the of the Lord say so. Call me.
Yeah.
Okay, I will defer. To you if they can contact you. But if you feel like you can't handle it, I got you. Tell them don't let these degrees fool you, and don't let these hoop earrings fool you either, because they can come off. And that is my Black history fact.
The more you know.
The more you know, right?
But thanks, y'all. I'll see y'all next month.
All right.
All right.
See ya. Y'all better know about the panda and his girl. See, say, hold up. Let me find out. You done inbox Jamaica.
I don't play that. I got that.
Yeah.
All right, Kim.
Look, I'm looking. I'm like, okay. Next. Well, anyway.
That was good.
We're gonna go right on in the hot topics. Thanks again to Jamaica for giving us things that we don't know. I love it. Okay, so the first hot topic we're going to start with is Dr. Umar. I didn't mean to sigh.
I did.
Dr. Umar has released the opening of his online academy that would be from September 2020 through June 2021 for the low price of $325 a month. Okay, 4th grade African American males only.
If somebody don't cancel his Canva subscription.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to charge $325 a month, you need to do better than that. Anyway, but I'm gonna go to Win first. What you think? Would you send your son? You have a son that could go in the future. Because he's not 4th grade yet, but would you send your son?
He's going to 3rd. No. So here's the other caveat that we found out too. We also found out that this $325 a month is for an hour. An hour a day.
Boy, bye. Stop. Daycare.
Who said that?
That's what I read. I read someplace that it was an hour, and I was like, an hour? That's dumb.
You don't go somewhere.
So let's just say it's a full day. Let's just say it's a full day. I'm still not sending, and I'm not sending my child. I would not send my child to Dr. Umar's school, not necessarily because of the price, but because like I need more information. I need more rigorous, and not to be funny, I like the fact that he is contrary to. I like the fact that he wants to teach our people our history, or I like our, but I don't necessarily trust him to do that part. I trust, I think as a psychologist, he has some very good things but outside of that, I got nothing for you. And we're not going to even get into the credibility of the fact that I need to know where the other money went. So you got some questions. There's some credibility.
We got enough money to start this online stuff. You got enough. You should have enough money raised to pay a couple of instructors and stuff. But anyway, we're gonna go on the queue and see.
Kels, you want your money back? Kels want her money back.
Kels wants all her money back. Plus interest.
Yeah. And I'm gonna and I'm gonna get on my soapbox before we end this discussion. But yeah.
It's been about 3 years, sis. You're right. It's time for you to be paid what you owe. But anyway, I'm gonna let sis cover that part because that's the point. Right. But no, Umar gets no pennies, no nothing. $325 is freaking ridiculous, especially for 1 grade level, 4th grade. Like $325 a month for now 1 hour for the 4th grade. That's ridiculous. Right. No. And if you've ever gotten 4th grade boys together, 30 minutes of that hour is gonna be getting them to sit down and be still. So don't.
Thanks. Really not that.
Stop that. Aside from Umar, we're going to separate him from this because that's going to put a whole different shadow on it. I think the idea of pods, these units of school instruction is still a very, very good idea. Now, I am completely for the idea of this. I think $325 a month is excessive, especially if you're doing a collective type of situation. If it's going to be shared, I think this is the time for us to get creative. And lend to our strengths. get the mamas together, the crew, the sisters, everybody get together, the brothers, everybody get together and figure out what you're strong at, and y'all rotate them days so nobody gets burned out. These kids get a good experience on a day-to-day basis. This is the time, the susus that we keep talking about, this is the way that we can put this to work. You know what I'm saying? This is a way we can put it in the pot, but everybody's taken care of. We get on an internet plan and make sure everybody shows up and can do what they need to do. We get supply lists set up. We get everything set up so that on this day of this week, we doing these things. On this day of this week, we doing these things. You know what I mean? With these people. That way the village gets to happen again. You know what I mean? I'm good at certain things that I can teach. I'm good. My sister's good at things that she could teach. My brother's good at things that he could teach. Those are the things, and they get different perspectives, different ideas of information. You know what I'm saying? And it's coming from people who love them, who know them, all of that. So yes, I would put good money, especially with all of this going on. I would invest in something like this if we knew we were involved.
To piggyback on that, Q, I wouldn't even have a problem paying. I wouldn't have a problem paying $325 a month if I knew that $325 was going to pay like a teacher who was going to be there to, you know, like and we was going to have snacks and there was, you know, that. I don't have a problem with that because I get if we're going to do the pods and there's going to be, again, a rigorous education, there's going to be some stuff actually taught and we're not just going to sit around like it's a daycare. Yeah, I'm down with it because, again, daycare now is $225 a week. So, you know, it's like, I'm $325 for the month. Okay, but do something for it. Don't just.
I think about that, but you've got one tray. I've got 3 kids, so that ends up being $1,000 investment for a family with multiple children. And if you got different grade levels, that's why I said we got to get creative when we structure this so that it doesn't cripple a family, because we have to be realistic. Our education system has been this way for eons. Like, this is a given, you know what I mean? So our whole lives, our world is structured around kids are gone for X amount of hours out of the day. You know what I mean? So we have to still be able to put that in somewhat of an alignment with the way that the rest of the world works. So, you know, and not cripple people, because school been free since school been free. So, you know, there's been an option to go out and pay for school, whereas some people, you still got to learn. Going to school is required. Paying for your school has not been. So while we're put in this position where you don't have the option now, I think we still have to be realistic in how we set this up, or else we're going to leave a lot of kids in the gap. That's the other side of these pods, is going to leave babies out of the fold and behind. So we got to find that balance. You're going to have to pay for something, but you're also going to have to pay for the folks to still take it home.
Okay, go ahead.
The thing, even you know, with Dr. Umar and the money that was raised before, you know, he raised. I think he finally made it to 400,000. I think is what it was. When all of the questions start coming about, like, what are you doing with this money? Why is it just sitting here? You're going to buy the school and all of that. Dr. Umar still ain't disclosed exactly what happened with that money. To me, as a way to smooth things over, for lack of a better word, why not use what you had to do this online school? And I think someone mentioned as a comment, as an after school program, as in something in addition for if it's really an hour. I mean, if it's something an hour, come on now. Come on, bro.
That's too much.
And then, you know, I had a lack of trust with him because as a person who signed up to volunteer and who was giving monthly to help get to that 400,000 and signed up to volunteer, I felt like the whole shebang about volunteering and us having this big, huge network, you going from city to city and you got a following like none other. If you got people with half the inkling to sign up, you know, to volunteer and y'all ain't making no moves, then what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you just didn't leave Oklahoma City. Are you doing this in every city where you just signing up these lists? I'm calling, contacting them. What are we supposed to do? What do y'all want us to do? Are we meeting? Who's the leader here in Oklahoma City? Is there a contact person? Yeah, y'all. It's a whole. And then he gives you his number. I text him like, "Hey, what's going on with the volunteerism? What's going on?" He's like, "Did I take a picture of you? Can you send me your picture?" Dr. Umar, if you don't get off my phone.
Yep. Goes from city, you nailed it right there. He goes from city to city, charging his supporters to show up, to be there, to bring their people in, to promote the stuff for them. You deal with, That's why I said we got to separate Umar from the initiative, because he immediately put the bad taste in everybody's mouth for how he's done the community. Yep.
You know what? I hope somebody comes together with it, but it needs. I wish some experienced educators that's on that cusp of being in education for a while, that's tech savvy. I'm probably gonna hit several of y'all on the live right now. Tech savvy, been in education, has adjunct taught, has taught in the classroom. Start building these networks, even if you got to start with just one subject. Say, hey, parents, I'm gonna do. All I can teach is, second grade math. So I'm gonna offer these times, and if you want to charge a little bit, I mean, that's up to you. But I think they just got to step up, because we don't need people capitalizing on this, especially on us.
Yep,
because he's already done it.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. So
it's gonna happen.
I didn't get too bad. I didn't cuss him out.
You didn't. Listen, I just growth. Telling you, because that was a big disappointment, because when you think somebody is here that's just to fight for us, because I'll tell I can't honestly say I'm ready to die for all of y'all.
Right. That part.
I volunteered. So I'm thinking this person that's ready to die for the cause. So that's a high respect. I'm giving you my money.
Mm-hmm.
One month step into the cause. Whatever. Anyway, we're gonna move on to the next one. So this one is talking about Black men laying up with the wrong woman. Is that the next one?
Oh Lord.
Yes.
Is that the right picture? This looks funny. Yeah. Black men destroy themselves by laying up with women they see no future with. Black men destroy themselves by laying up with women they see no future with. When that, your look of despair lets me know what you're thinking about this. Yeah, go ahead. What's your thoughts, Wynn?
No, Black men do not. No. Should you do it? No.
Yeah.
But do you destroy yourself? No. You probably actually do more. My thought is you probably do more damage to the woman than you do to yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't help you, and it is stupid. But destroy? I mean, let's just destroy yourself. Like, I had to think about this, like, worst case scenario. What is the worst case scenario that could happen?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're still not destroyed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, in my mind, I'm gonna be honest. In my mind, I thought so. The worst thing that happened could be like you catch something.
Okay.
And so you have to walk around with something, even if it's something that's not treatable, like, or not, curable. But you're not destroyed. It changes your life.
Mm-hmm.
But like magic been around, you know what I mean? It's like what destroyed. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that's why I said when on the post, I was like, I think destroyed is a bit much. It doesn't help you. It's not wise. You shouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But first of all, when you're young and dumb, you do a lot of stupid stuff. Second, other part is like I said, I think destroy is that's just a bit much.
Yeah, and men ain't laying up ain't affecting men like that anyway. But what's your thoughts, Kia?
Yeah, this one's quick for me. I think destroy is a bit dramatic. I don't know if Z is a woman or a man, but that was a bit much. Z, I'm gonna need you to stop the presses just a little bit. I don't think it destroys Black men. I do agree with Wynn in his thought process of it. I think it does more damage to the woman long term when that happens, depending upon her mindset. But to speak to the men aspect of it, I think if anything, it insults the integrity of the king in him. When they feel, I think there is something in men that makes them feel that the more women that they share themselves with, the more manly that they are. Where in all actuality, I think that we don't tell young men that they are just as prized and important and valuable as we do our young women. So if men had that same value of self over themselves, then they would be more aware of what they share. I think a lot of the times when because they're trying to hit a mark that they've been given as men, that then degrades who they really are. They're too busy trying to hit these marks as men instead of actually growing the man that they're going to be. So they rush all of that. They rush all of that growing up at the end stages because they've done so much playing beforehand. And I'm sorry, I've seen too many men come on the other side saying I could have done without all of that. That didn't really help anything for me to believe that that's necessary for a man to become this awesome man that he is after the fact. So I think that it does degrade the king that we keep telling men are, because you still got to deal with all the stuff that you did while you were on your way to being a king. So if we stop bringing this extra into the process of becoming a king, I think that will stop these types of things from happening. Human nature is enough. But when we add all of these requisites to leveling up to the next stage of who you are as a person, I think that doesn't help anything. Like, I don't think it destroys us. I just think it degrades who you are a lot faster than that.
I mean, I think it could put a stamp, if a man is getting that deep in their art, like you said, some repercussion that's really major that has made them think about, some extra hoops he had to go through. But seeing them destroying themselves by laying up with women, or even being with women, having sex with women, multiple women, playing around, being a player, has not destroyed any man yet. I mean, it's just not there. To me, we already know that sex is looked at different between men and women, or even if you go deeper, but just how you were raised to think about sex. So it's the fact that most men are not laying up with a woman. They're not tying all their being into that, so it's not going to affect them to this point.
I think I was going to say, Kels, I think the part of that is that is the part that I think a better adjective would be is that as a man, what you do to yourself is you do make it harder for yourself to get to where you want to get to. Because it is impossible to be a good dude and not develop some type of conscious about the things that you have done in your past. And so that's why ladies who, when y'all ever want to know, like, why out of the blue, your ex call you and be like, I just thought about what happened when we was together and you were such a good woman and I was so wrong when I treated you bad. What that is that moment, that crisis of conscious moment where all of a sudden you realize that the man who you think you want to be versus the man who you have been are two totally different people. And now you got to figure out how to reconcile your past. I think that not being with women that you don't see yourself with gets rid of a lot of the baggage that you have to go through in order to get to that. But it doesn't mean you haven't destroyed yourself.
Yeah.
You might have wounded and hurt somebody else, the other person, but destroy.
And I mean, I guess, and I'm looking at laying up with women, like laying up the wrong women, like I'm not looking at them being with a woman long term that's wrong for them. I'm thinking like more like women hopping and stuff like that. Like it's just affect them. It don't affect them the same way as it affects most women.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to that one. This one, the hyphenated last name.
Woo, Jesus,
it always surprises me. You either take my last name or there ain't nothing to talk about. No hyphens either. This was posted by
JB,
one of our active members, and I'm surprised JB ain't out here tonight. He comes with some very well-rounded men perspective, but yeah, I'm always surprised at how offended men are by this last name thing. I'm gonna start with Q. I mean, you took all your husband's last name, but what do you think James's reaction? Did you ask him about this, or has he mentioned it before? If you would ever
No, I consider myself a hybrid with these kinds of things. Like I am very old school in certain aspects of my life, and then I'm very new school in other aspects. The last name thing was a no-brainer for me. Like that was never a big deal to me. I didn't have any degrees or any titles or certifications or anything like that would make me jump through a bunch of hoops. I was 20 years old when I got married. What the hell am I holding on to? You know what I mean? My daddy ain't a daddy for a look. Neither one of them. You know what I mean? Like it was no problem for me to give to take my husband's last name. That was an honor for me. When I see women who have an issue with this, I have yet to see a woman say, I don't want to take his last name simply because I don't want to do it and I'm trying to give up my personhood or whatever the case may be. It's usually because of certifications, things like that. It's easier, it's more cost effective because they charge hundreds of dollars to process the paperwork to just change your legal name. You know what I mean? On your certifications and things like that. So I can totally understand why a lot of women are like, yeah, I'm a hyphenate. You know what I mean? I got you. I'm on all the paperwork that matters. I'm yours. You know what I'm saying? So to see men break this down was very, very interesting to me. I think Flacco made a comment of like, yeah, you holding on to your last name. That means like I'm holding on to my ex-girlfriend's contacts. And I was like, what? Like,
right.
These things matter, right? How do these things equate? This is a whole other relationship you're thinking about. What? So like, yeah. This is one that is totally a man thing. I'm gonna put this in the man box and let it marinate because, yeah, I think when you sign a legally binding contract with a person, no matter who you call yourself, at the end of the day, that's you. You know what I'm saying? So whatever shows up on paper, you know how I'm about people possessing people. This boils down to a possession thing. You are mine. And I need everybody to know that you are mine at all times, no matter what, to the point that you now belong to me by name. And if you are not willing to say that, all the other stuff, all the other ways that you love me are moot because the world doesn't see this on paper as you belong to me. So when I see these kinds of things that there is not, it just baffles my mind. You know what I mean? Because if you can have me every other way, but that name, the name is the thing that gets. We took our master's names. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the possession part of it. So y'all know I've been starting to break down. I've been thinking about a lot of different stuff, and we just keep transferring ownership from one relationship to the next, and it just gets me like, wow. I see how we think about this. Like,
yeah, come on, Win. We already told you that it's confusing for us, and it's not for us to understand. What's your take on it?
So. My take is this. If I marry you, to me, it is an honor to give you my name. If you hyphenate your name, unless it is for a professional reason, then I personally would want to know why. And the response that I have been given is typically, if it's not professional, it is, I want to maintain the name of my father's family. And as much as I respect that and honor that, there was a time when to me that just I didn't want to hear that. Because if I'm marrying you and I'm giving you my name, to me that it is possession in the sense that I now realize that you are my responsibility. I am taking the responsibility of being a covering, a protector, a husband, all of that stuff. And I'm saying that I want to build this life. I want to build this family with this family name with you. And so to me, that is the reason why that is something that I personally would want. It never crossed my mind outside of business why a woman would want to keep their name. Yeah.
So I know we gotta move on, but I'm gonna say this last part because this is totally so y'all all know that I love me some Sarah Jakes Roberts. Okay. Sarah is like my big sister in my head, but I think we're real close in age, so she might not even be big sis at this point. But that's my girl, okay? She actually preached one day during a sermon about this when she was getting ready to marry Teray. Everybody knows she goes as Jakes Roberts, and her father, Pastor Jakes, told her when they were having this conversation, because she too was all gung-ho about, becoming Miss Roberts or, whatever the case. And her dad told her, he said, hold up now. He said, be aware of the power that you hold as you are right now. You know what I mean? You dropping that Jakes means something. So when I hear women who say, and he went on, and there was a whole lot of other stuff that he said that made a lot of sense as far as your legacy, as far as your roots, who you are, you know what I mean? And he said that still brings power, that still brings influence, that adds to what you are, that height. You know what I mean? It adds to what you're bringing. Just like you add to that man, there's power in who you are. You are a Jakes. So when you bring that to that union, you know what I mean? Don't be so quick to relinquish that power to something that has not been proven yet. So to me, I felt that. But again, that's Mr. Jakes that we talking about. That's not Mr. Jones down the street that ain't got nothing, you know what I mean? But when we talk about but then again, you got to think about the power of a woman and her daddy. You know what I'm saying? And there's a certain relinquish that you have to have for that, but there's also a pride that comes with that. So I think that's a discussion that has to be had. It's not so cut and dry as if you want to hold on to this and you don't want to love me, you ain't willing to let go of the love that he had to take on the love that I had. Like sometimes it seems like we should be better at expressing the root of what it is that we need and why. Because a lot of the times I think women dismiss it as, oh, you just don't care. And then we don't really see the root. And then men say, nah, if you don't want my name, then you don't want me. And it's not always that cut and dry when it comes to a person who they are. You know what I mean? Who they are.
Well, to me, with Jakes, that still falls kind of under the professional category, because that, I mean, ministry is their profession. Their name has become their profession. But I mean,
I also think that we have to be honest and say that there are some women who fit in the category of not wanting to do it as there's a part of control that I want to maintain control. I still want, like, that's there. It happens. But I think, like, you have to go deeper into the discussion to find out the real rationale behind both sides. Why is it so important for you to have my name, and why is it so important? Especially, let me be honest, especially if in no other area of your life does your name have, like, are you that important about your family?
Right.
Well, you your kids, but you so about her taking your name, like, worry about your kids who got your name too, so it's your kids got some other woman name. I don't see, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, so there is some nuances to this discussion that do need to be discussed. Like, you got to be careful as a man as to why, and be honest with yourself. And as a woman, you got to be honest as to why it's important.
Yeah.
And
it like me, I'm 41. If I was to get married now, I probably wouldn't change my name, just because, I mean, I have stuff tied to my name, and when you that old, they probably got all their stuff, and I just keep my name the same, just for lack of, now if it was something that was a big issue with him, but I think I would discuss it beforehand.
Yeah, you discussed that before.
I'm like, there's a lot of people who get married that don't change their name. There's a lot of people who don't never get married that just live together forever. So that's a whole other story.
Yeah, and again, there's people who who for professional reasons use their married,
Yep.
But I was gonna wrap it up. What we doing? I'm sorry. Yeah, we're gonna move on to the next segment. Remember that Hot Topics has been brought to you by Kirby Kitten Clothing. I'm losing my spot. where self-reflection is perfection. You can get Curvy Kitten at www.curvykittens.com. This is an ad of our tank dresses. We're getting them in new colors. Some, some summer girl looks, fall looks, and it's like hotcakes, y'all. If I bring them in the store, they're back to my root store. I post a picture, they gone. So y'all better get on them. We'll be launching the new website Saturday, so be on the look out for that too. So yeah, Curvy Kitten coming with the new hot stuff. Because we're more than a clothing line, we're a movement to show that women loving their curves, no matter what size, is the foundation to loving each other. So see y'all next
y'all. She popped that ad up in our little inbox earlier, and I saw my curves in that tank dress. I said, "Ooh, girl." So yeah, let me slide all this Corona cushion into that tank dress, honey. Let me get curvy. Yeah. That's cute. That's a little sexy something right there. Yes. Go on, slide over to curvykittens.com and get you one of them.
All right. Come on.
All right. So now it's time for us to get on into the second half. We are going to go ahead and pull it on in. We always talk about how men need us. I mean, how men need to feel needed, and how important it is for a man to feel needed and all of that, and the repercussions of when, how men react to not being needed. And a lot of the times, I'm just going to be honest, ladies, we don't always give men the same care that we ask for when we say we don't feel needed or necessary, or you don't want me. We've had so many discussions about, y'all remember the conversation of, hey, you want me to come over? I mean, if you want to. Well, I mean, do you really want me to come over? Like, then there's this long argument and y'all end up breaking up over the, do you want me to, or yeah, you can come over if you feel like it type conversation. Okay. So we know that being wanted and desired and needed is a thing. So tonight we win in his sinister way that he does, posed a question to the ladies, and I honestly don't think they knew what was up when he initially posed the question, because I mean the comments were like boom, 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 boom. They were giving dissertations of how it made them feel and how neglected and how, I just needed to back up from that situation. Okay, we went in. Yep, let's went in on how it made us feel when we are not needed in a relationship. Oh, it was the worst relationship I was ever in. I couldn't get out of that fast enough. There was never even a meeting of the minds. I just felt like he only needed me for that. Like, oh, okay. The people came when called. Okay, so we wanted to. I knew it when I read it. I didn't comment. I said,
I don't think I commented either. I don't think I commented.
Our blinders were up. We knew if we at this point we scroll past Win and his shenanigans. Like, it's rare that we get caught in it now. Like, we just scroll right past it. I swear, when I saw it, I'm like, because there's so many the ones who are quick to say they don't need, they don't want. We're two people who come together. I don't need, all that other stuff. And when you have to flip that script, it changes the game. Okay. Yeah. So yes, Alyssa, sneaky. Y'all better know about whatever. Read the lines, y'all. Between the lines is where the meat is. Between the lines. Okay. So he put the script in this finessing way that the panda does. And so the question that we're going to ask is, ladies, have you been with a man you felt didn't need you, and how did that make you feel? So yeah, what was it like? And this is outside of sexual intimacy. If so, what was or is it like? And that the parentheses get us, y'all. Them parentheses.
Power in the parentheses.
Power, girl. The power lies in them parentheses. Because so much of our power is often tied to the honeypot. You know what I'm saying? So when you remove for some women, that can be the thing that they're like, oh, he only wants me for that. You know what I mean? Oh, I don't want to be only wanted for that. And then there are some women who take pride in the fact that all he wants this honey. You know what I mean? All he wants is honey. But when you realize that might be all that he's showing up for, and you got all this extra wonderfulness, that to me, when I read through this, I thought, this is when that money, honey, is all he feels he's there for. You know what I mean? Right. And when he's like, well, I got all this other, you know what I'm saying? Like, what does that do? What does that really do? So, yeah, this one was a good one, Win. I tip my little hat. That was a very, very good job. Very good job. Kels, I'm going to ask you, what have you ever been in this type of situation, and how did it make you feel?
This was kind of tough for me because I saw the writing on the wall when I read it. You know, it was like, I don't need it. I'm queen of the I don't need. So yeah, I was like, well, and I didn't respond because I had to really think. I was like, I rarely have been in a situation where I felt like, I guess the serious relationships I've had, I felt like they needed me too much. So I really couldn't compare a feeling actually, but I mean, it like I said, as a queen of the I need to, I felt the, the shade. I was like, okay. I said, I can feel this thing. If somebody said they didn't need me for anything, but I was like, okay, I could see it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I couldn't place an emotion to actually experiencing that, but I'll use it in the future. I'll be less. I don't need you. I may step down. Yeah. I may step down, relinquish my crown, because I like I said, it pointed it out. Like, okay, yeah, I see how that looks and how that sounds. Mm-hmm. Very, very, very good answer. Because I'm like, those that was going in. Woo.
Yeah.
Y'all don't say nothing else on the other post.
Okay, because they waiting. They got that screenshotted waiting. They was shoot.
Don't you say nothing else about you don't need no man on another post.
Nothing.
I'm covered because I didn't fall.
Yeah. I got to catch that replay.
I got one or two more I don't need you left in me though. That I authorized to use because I didn't fall for the shenanigans.
Right.
But but reading it in black and white, like really reading it objectively, you can see how it would hurt someone's feelings to feel like that. So yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm. Especially in a romantic way. On a dutiful need, that's different than in a I need you as your person. You know what I mean? There's something about your spirit that I need, as opposed to what you can do for me. And I think that's what those parentheses put on that. You know what I mean? If that person craves something about you, you know what I mean? That is and even being married 99 years, I can say that our relationship has gone through those moments where I think both of us have felt like the other didn't necessarily need them, and that made them feel some type of way. You know what I mean? Aside from the things that we're obligated to do, those boxes that we check, do you really want to be around me? That's that like versus love. You know what I mean? Like, you can love a lot of people that you do not, I almost cuss, that you do not like at all. Like, you do not, I'm avoiding you at all costs unless I absolutely have to be in your space. But to like somebody is something totally different. And I think that's that want versus need. If I want to chill with you, if I want to go out of my way to do something for you, if I want to prioritize something that you like over something that I like, those things are different than when, all right, she liked to do that, all right, let's go do that. You know what I mean? Like that's different altogether. So when decode it for us, tell the people what you wanted to get from this. Tell us our shade. Give us the root of this here question, sir. Put the people in their place
Yeah.
No,
Go ahead.
Really, the reality is when we keep arguing about need versus want, we forget that all of that this is a two-way street. And really, I think the narrative now is that is predominantly now that as a man, we're supposed to do certain things, and we're not supposed to tell you when we need something, because if we tell you we need something, then now we are forcing you, or we are, we're doing something that it's like, wait, but but sugar honey iced tea, I have needs too. Like, I can't, you mean to tell me that as someone who is trying to love you as best as I can on a daily basis, me telling you that I can we talking, right? It's okay, it's after 10. It's bad. I'm your whole husband, and I can't come to you and tell you that I need some head. Like, why am I have to have this conversation, and why am I wrong for doing it? Why am I weak for doing it? Why is there something wrong with my masculinity? Because, but if I don't say it, then I'm just supposed to sit here until you feel like it, but then you gonna tell me tomorrow that you need me to do a bunch of stuff. And I'm just supposed to go, okay, let me go ahead. And it's like, no, I don't. That, to me, it doesn't help breed love and reciprocity, and the fact that our role to one another is supposed to be there together. And I thought that when I got married, that the person was supposed to, on a daily basis, or even be in a relationship, with that the goal was that every day we were going to do the best that we can to meet the other person's needs just as much as the other person was going to meet our needs. Yeah. And when it gets out of equilibrium, and sometimes it's really not, we think it is, but when it gets out of equilibrium, now I am resentful. Now I am in a place where I don't even feel like a man sometimes, because guess what? I don't know what to do, because the only thing I know to do is go cheat, and I can't do that because that's not the type of dude that I am, and I don't want to lead a relationship because I love you. But what am I supposed to say? So it creates just a vacuum that I don't think that sometimes that some ladies, not all, understand that the needs of a man go beyond, and I shouldn't have used the oral sex, but whatever, because they go beyond sexual needs. Like, we need things beyond sex, just like y'all get things beyond sex. And so how do we create an atmosphere where I can be those things, or learn those things, or develop those things with you, and not seem like I'm weak? Did y'all see the Mike Tyson interview when he was crying?
I saw bits and pieces of. I couldn't focus on Mike. I'm gonna be honest with you. But,
Mike Tyson said, "I am trying." The part that he said, "I am trying to learn how to be this humble man." He said, but I gotta be honest with you. There are a lot of days I feel like and he used the 5.
I did see that part.
I thought to myself, man, there are so many men who feel like that, because we're trying to develop this humbleness, this servanthood, this, understand that being, that this killer who he says he was is not who we are supposed to be. And I honestly think not all, but that a lot of ladies understand that we're trying to figure that thing out.
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a really good point.
And I think, we've mentioned this before, that we're at a point now where it's gonna take men that other men trust to open that door up. Because as women, we can't keep telling y'all to talk to us, and y'all still not doing it. Y'all still don't feel comfortable. So I don't know if a woman can give you that comfort. Can she give that to you as a woman if you think it's dealing with something, something that's manly on the inside? So I don't know. I just feel like it's gonna take more than us to talk about it, because y'all still don't feel comfortable, and you would think as we progressed as far as social media and different things that we are enlightened about now, that men won't feel less machismo if they open up, or if they're humble or vulnerable.
Yep.
So okay, let me answer the question. Kim, here's to that question. If a man is in a relationship, a committed, serious, like he's in the relationship with you, he wants you. He wants you to be that person that he can be that with. And the need might be that he might need you to coax it, like to help give him language. But in terms of doing it, yes.
But okay, I guess what I'm saying is if I don't feel like men are communicating that to their woman, even though they may want her to do that, but if you're not telling me that because y'all don't feel like y'all have the can't or you're embarrassed or whatever, if men still feel like they can't say it overall, if men still feel that way, they're not communicating that to there's no way they can be communicating that to their wives or to their significant others.
They're not. And I'm going to back that up from in that position because, you know, we talk a lot about the rom-com and what we see on the television and all of that versus what we really want. You know what I mean? I think that this is what Kels just said is a very, very important. And seeing it from other men, especially a Superman like Mike Tyson, okay, to say that I'm now trying to, within myself, balance the killer with the Care Bear. Okay, I'm gonna go one extreme to the other. Okay? It's like, when have we ever seen Mike Tyson drop tears? You know what I mean? Right. Or get up about something. But I think in a lot of ways, when we watch these movies and things like that, if men pay attention to the things, those scenes that make women melt, it's when that man is being soft, when he's laying his head in her lap, when he is opening up to her. Yeah, we swoon when The Rock comes and busts through the wall and knocks all the people out and all that other stuff. Okay, fine. But if you ask any woman what her favorite scenes are in those rock'em sock'em blow it all up movies, it's when that man comes home and he releases all of that strength and folds into her arms and she's able to hear him, love on him, take care of him. So I think, yes, every woman wants a strong woman that can protect her, but there is a certain level of just deal with it that I think women accept and understand as a part of loving a man, that we say, okay, he's on his man stuff. He got to be big and he got to be puffed up to allow them to see him do a thing. But when he get finished with all that, he gonna come cry in the car with me. You know what I mean? And that is what we look forward to. But until you get to that point where you are willing to say, I need my cry in the car moments, you don't really know how to handle that. Like, we don't know where y'all fall until you're ready to own that you do still need to cry in the car sometimes. So in the meantime, we're like, oh, okay, so you're being what would you need me to be? So it's hard for a woman to hear you say that you need to be revered as this big, strong man who's going to protect me at all costs. And then at the end of the day, you say, but I need to be soft too. When do you need to be soft? Because I'm asking you, you're like, no, I got to go be strong. So you're like, okay, well, whenever you're ready, I'll be here because I don't know what to do. So like, I get that. We hear that all the time. We want that. We crave that. Those are the times, that's what we say, well, baby, we need to talk. I miss you, but you're right here. That's what we're saying. You're too busy being bad for the men that you don't love. Like, you don't lay down with them every night. You lay down with me. So why are you trying to be with him? That's how women give me the women's perspective.
When you say, baby, we need to talk, we're not comprehending that as this is a time for me to be vulnerable. We're comprehending that as we about to get told that we doing something. We try to say something, we're gonna get told, well, give me an example. Well, you can't give me an example, so it must not be true. So we just like, you know what? Or it's a time where we're told to listen. Mm-hmm. I respect that there does have to be a space, and that there is a way and a time that our women want that from us. I think where the disconnect happens is potentially that it could be in the times when we try to do that, or we hear other conversations and we say, okay, like this probably won't be received well. Mm-hmm. And so we're trying to figure out, when is a good time to really do that in a way that's going to be received. And I'm not suggesting Please hear me, ladies. I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't not talk about things and you shouldn't, but I'm saying that in somewhere in your conversations, it needs to be known first by him and by you that the vulnerable spaces is something that is welcomed, and not only welcome, but doesn't diminish the, what did you say, the beast. So I forgot what you said. Like
machismo.
Yeah.
Well, that the Care Bear and
the killer versus the Care Bear. Yeah.
The Care Bear both make you manly to me. I don't, again, and let me also give you this caveat. I can say this at 40, and we realize Mike is 50.
Right.
Saying,
right.
So our early, there's no way in God's green earth that in my 20s and even mid 30s, I would have ever thought that it is beneficial for me to have us to be sensitive, because before that, sensitivity was a sign of I was going to get killed, and I was going to be seen as weak by men and by women. So at 40, I recognize, okay, something ain't right. This is imbalanced, and I can't continue to live like that. So I say that for younger men to say, listen, if you in your 20s and 30s, it's all right. But also, it's not beneficial. It's not helpful.
Yep. Well, I mean, it with the different conversations and different men that are, that embrace that side of them. To me, they'll pass that on to other, probably to their sons, but just taking that, I mean, you just have to take it a step further to where it's being taught to, everybody. So that's what I mean by it's going to take men who aren't afraid to show those sides to start being those strong men in front of those boys and showing them that sensitive side, showing them that early on, showing them that at these football camps, showing them that at camp, showing them that at you can show them you can kind of show them what they proud of them. They can show them at the football camp.
Yeah. I also see. What was I about to say?
It's off the side at the end.
Oh, yes, I agree. The other thing, but let me also add this, because I'm not going to let y'all off that easy. I also think the purpose of the question the other purpose of the question is, ladies, I love you, but at some point you have to also develop something besides your sex game. Like you have to be great at something besides sex in order to make, you know what I mean? Like we need something. We need something else besides that. Like you can't, that's not, and I said it in the post earlier, like I said today, you can't think that the solution for us for everything is always going to be sex. We might say that, but it's not the truth. The truth
wait a minute. Now, you're not gonna hang us on this hat, bro, because when we ask you eloquently, softly, sweetly, in the way that you say that you prefer to be corrected or asked or told things, what is it that you need other than my body? If you always just say, shut up and give me your body, that's not asking me to give you the rest of me that's so wonderful and bring more to the table. If you want more than sex, say that there's more than sex. Okay? Because if you pull up any group, any post, anything, you ask a man, what is it that he wants? What is it that he needs? Shut up and sex me regularly. Okay? So when you sit here and say, we need more than sex, how sway? Where sway? What sway? Because we sit down and being spiritual, we growing, we enlightened, we listening, we learning the lingo, we sitting here in circles of us because all y'all got is sex and shut up. So no, you're not gonna catch me up on that. You're not gonna catch us there because we have been begging, pleading, learning new languages, taking classes, all the new stuff to figure out all the ways to unlock the goodness that is that is above your belt. Okay, we want to know what's above the belt. Y'all only unlocking that though. That's the only thing that y'all unfastening is the belt, not the brain, and the heart, and that's the belt. So you release something else and then unlock, and you can unleash everything else that you're asking for. But I'm sorry, we sick of sex too. That's why we always say except sex, because we know that already. We know you want sex.
Well,
Sorry.
Okay, so let me respond to that. Can I respond to that?
Look, I'm gonna respond next.
Go ahead. Go. So I think the problem is, I think the thing is that when you're hearing that from a lot of us, the problem is that we're actually not getting it on a regular basis. So it's like, this is something that I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about other people.
Go ahead.
Who are not getting it, and they're having to argue to get it and fight to get that. Then it's like, well, what do you want? Can we at least start there? And then for us, that's a start. And if I can't even get that, to us, that is like, what else can I do if I can't even get that? Go ahead, Kels. Roll it. You can roll it.
What I was saying is,
I got friends. I'm not being. I got friends who go 6 months, 4 months, and I'm like, I don't.
Right, and so, I mean, to me, even when you give those examples, it still goes back to, you cannot. If a man has gone 6 months wanting something from his wife, whether it's sex or whatever it is, and she hasn't given it to him, and he doesn't feel like he can tell her that, I don't understand why you still married. I just don't.
They do.
They tell the woman that, and what does the woman say? Or their wives say? Nothing.
They either say that, seriously, they either say they're still not going to do it. They say they give them a list of things that they need to do or change in order to get it. They say that I'm not feeling well, so I'm not going to do it because I don't feel good about me. Like, there are responses. There are some who don't tell and don't say anything. They just suffer silence. But there are some who will actually legitimately say, and they get, well, if you clean the house more than I would. Okay, fine, I clean the house more.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. That just seems really extreme, because because when you think about me being amongst the dating world that's still crazy and getting worse by the day. Men ain't sitting around talking about, I'm looking for somebody to cry to. No. They just not.
No.
You know, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So if these kind of issues are already happening, if they're happening more amongst people who are already couples, I mean, that to me, if you're already in a coupled up, you're already in a long-term relationship, and your spouse cannot feel how, weird this is, or how you really need this, and that it is a problem because you keep bringing it up, then again, that's still on the man as the leader.
Yeah.
I mean,
tell a woman, if you've gone 6 months and have not sexed your husband, you're wrong. You are wrong. Yeah. You have not forced that conversation to make him understand whatever it is got you withholding, then you are wrong. Like I'm kind of because I've been in so many different spaces with wives who I see trying, who will own their ish, will say I was wrong, that they will put the scenario up, and wives will say, what the hell? Why did you do that? That was not right. You are wrong. And then we will turn around and correct her and give her tools and watch her go back and fix it and say, okay, sis, did you apologize to that man? What did he say? Now, did you do what you were supposed to? You owe him some da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So I see women actively, seeking out correction from other folks who see it, who've been doing it long, all that other stuff. You know what I mean? And I even see them in groups with other men asking questions. Hey, I don't think I handled this right. Can you tell me how to do this better? You know what I mean? And if I'm telling you, if all routes always end to you getting naked and shutting your mouth, I'm gonna need more evidence. I'm gonna need the bros to get on it. I'm gonna need y'all to start having answers when we say, what can we give you for your holidays other than sex? Y'all did real good the other day when I asked for, show me some things. And if we wanted, what is the equivalent for flowers? The men showed up, and my hat is off to you. You gave me a lot of stuff to add to my list. I appreciate it. We need more of that. Okay, because if you ask by and large, what's the way to get him to listen, to respond, to change the game to whatever, honey, you better get it locked. You better get it tight. You better get it right. You better get naked. Okay. So I love you, bro. And I love the bro. Listen to the show. I see Andre done tuned in. I know Big Bean gonna tune in a little later. We know y'all. We love y'all. But come up. You gotta do better. Okay. They're swing. Don't stop it.
That type of situation is just so baffling. Because if you have that strong of a connection with somebody, I don't care what it is. It could be you don't like the way they toenails grow. It should be you should be comfortable. I just don't get it. If you've been married to somebody, this is your life partner. I agree. Comfortable saying anything to them. So if this is something that is bothering you and they aren't changing, then the man needs to be withholding something. Don't pay the mortgage next month. I mean, they gonna have to. You gonna have to. What is her love language? You got to do something to make her understand. I just don't see how you could be married to somebody and you tell them this is what you need and they don't. They not trying to respond at all.
Yeah. And again, I think that usually the response is a list. Well, this is things that you should do. Dre, go ahead, Dre. It's all right. You could jump in.
You know, strong wind up, so you might as well say it.
I'm sure because I've been there. I
understand what you're saying because I know the type of men that y'all are, and I'm sure there's other wonderful men around the world that's going through that same space. So to me, even in that space, if you've grown to where, as a man, to where you're like, okay, now I am being that person you said you wanted me to be. I'm being more vulnerable. I'm opening up. I'm communicating to you what I need. This is something that I need, and you're still not giving it to me. Then, and if she ain't ready to raise up to you, we'd be like, leave. You need to go. You need to do something. You need to go to counseling. I mean, you know what I mean? So, are the men taking the extra step to say, hey, look, we done talked about this. It's been years, hun, or this is something that's still really bothering me. Just like women would do. Either we need to go to counseling, I'm ready to go, or talk to the pastor. You know what I mean? Are they taking it? Are men still taking it to that level? Or are they just being complacent and saying, like you said, if that's all, I don't want to argue. Or if, okay, she gave me some, now I'm gonna shut up. I mean, if that's still the same cycle that the man is doing, then
I could say I've seen it on the full gambit. I've seen some. One thing I will say is I don't hear very many say let's go to counseling, but all the other stuff before counseling, I've heard I've heard all of that. Like, let's talk about it. Let's read the book. Let's pray about it. Let's talk to the pastor. Let's talk to Jesus. Let's do the counseling. Yeah, we ain't doing that. So that's probably the only thing I could honestly say I don't hear a lot of from this. But again, I think it's, I think we'll get there.
We will. We'll definitely get there.
And I mean, you still have to think about the like I was even saying before, even through this show, other shows, the way people are evolving. If you're, maybe that's another avenue. Mm-hmm. Maybe listen to this podcast right here. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's something else that you need to try, because if your partner just may not be as evolved as you have. Because to me, I just feel like as a woman, even my age, and anybody, a generation older, would kind of, if a man came to them in that way, you would feel, that it's something different, that there's something they really need, because it's not the norm.
I absolutely agree. It's something that we do grow into, because even in the scoop, we can tell we've got a wide variety of age ranges in the scoop. And when we post these questions, you can tell when a person responds in a younger perspective versus a woman who's either been married and divorced, currently married, or just over a certain age and has experienced a different thing. You can see the same thing in a lot of the men. I won't say all the men, but I'm saying a lot of the men are of a certain age. They respond to certain to certain comments in a certain way. My thought on that is, if you've been, especially for those long-term relationships, you can't expect you guys to ebb and flow and grow and go through all of these other things to the outside world and then expect you all to get to a certain place as far as maturity is concerned as an individual and as a couple, and not expect a conversation to be had to where you have to re-level your playing field. If your woman has had to deal with this super macho, I want to do this, don't tell me that, no, I don't cry, da-da-da-da-da-da, all this time. And that's what she's had to adjust to be able to meet you, match you, love you, care for you, support you, do all those things that make her your everything. And now, because you've hit the maturity spectrum, you want her to now all of a sudden be willing to say, oh, baby, did that hurt? Did that hurt you? Tell me how that hurt you. You know what I mean? And then be serious about that. Like you can't, the same way that you all need that transition period when we go through those changes, we need that same thing. Because when you train us, because women are more receptive to what you need, and I'm gonna follow along, I'm gonna get right on in that, I'm gonna adjust. You know what I mean? I need the beer ready, I need the dinner cooking, I need these on the side of the bed, not to that regimen, but I'm trying to be an extreme so we get the point here. But we adjust to those things to allow you to feel like your very best man, so you can puff your chest and be good and support and you. So when that changes and you don't communicate that, and now you need more than what you was standard before, that's what leaves women like, what do you mean? Now we're not talking? You know what I mean? And that's what sometimes happens with that 6-month lag, because now you need something different than what she's been used to giving. You haven't said that you need that thing different. And now she hasn't also had the chance to communicate her differences, because, 20, 30 early you was, no, we don't talk about that. I paid that bill, didn't I? The bill was paid, right? Okay, well, go holler at your girls about all that feeling stuff, because I'm taking care of these bills. I'm providing, I'm protecting, and you should be good. So now when it's time to feel, now she gets to feel. You know what I mean? So like you got to transition. We got to understand that these transitions happen for both sides. And, when you tell her to turn off her Care Bear because you ain't in Care Bear mode, and then you want her to flip it back on for somebody other than the kids, you can't be mad when that transition takes a little while, because she has to adjust to that new you too.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah. That was a good conversation. Let's move on. That was good.
Yeah.
Let's see what Drake said. Counseling would be a great convo starter. It would also start a huge fight. Yeah. Why are we so afraid of fighting? Like, why are we so afraid of fighting with the people that we said forever? I'll be damned if I take a vow for forever and I ain't willing to have a fight or two. Like, that's crazy.
I think
you gotta pick the battle through though.
Right.
You do.
I think we say, like in this instance, when he's saying fight, and Dre, please correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's referring to something that's damaging that he thinks that's damaging, that to the point of where the person could see like this is time for us to end, like I'm ending this relationship. Because some people, just like some men don't do counseling, some women see counseling as, you think I'm a bad mother, I'm a bad wife. And so automatically the defense is up, and now she's running, so I've seen some places where it's like, wait, this doesn't mean he's trying to leave or this means we're trying to figure out how to get through this transition. And so I think that's why when he says it will cause a huge fight, like to the point where it'd be defensive, shut down, I ain't going, all of, I don't want to talk about it, like it's a lockdown. I've seen some lockdown, some ladies going, no, I ain't doing counseling.
So that seems like that lockdown happens for a few days, sometimes maybe a few weeks. But if there is a fight that has been avoided for an extended period of time, that breeds resentment that you do not come back from. If you give an opportunity to get it out, to say the things so that the person has the opportunity to act and readjust to it, as opposed to never saying it and letting it fester so they don't even know that they've done a wrong to you, that's something that a person, by the time that you finally have enough and say to that person, I am effing done with this, they don't even have the opportunity to fix it, because you have been festering for so long, avoiding a situational, when you really look at it, short-term fight. Because when you don't say nothing, you having a long-term fight with yourself and what could possibly happen if you were to say something, as opposed to actually just saying it, having a fight, being quiet for a couple of days, and coming back to the middle and be like, all right, so what we gonna do now? Like, what we really gonna do? So like we've seen those silent suffering relationships, and that is just as bad. So yes, fight it out with me, holler, scream, break some stuff, and then when we get through talking to this, then we'll go to Home Depot and replace it, and we'll do a DIY and be happy-go-lucky this weekend and have us a good drink, and we'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then 20 years later, I'm not bringing up old stuff that has got you where you hate me. So like, yes, fight with me. Fight with me every time. I'll be all right, and so will you. But I will not be all right 20 years from now, and I'm still pissed from the thing you did at the thing from way back then that I ain't have a chance to say nothing about.
I think the other point that you bring up, the other part that happens a lot also is that when the fight happens, there's usually not that come back together. What we gonna do about it? Doesn't happen. It usually just ends in you said what you had to say, I said what I had to say. We just gonna agree to disagree, and now there's resentment and all of that other kind of stuff because now we haven't come back to say and what's a solution for this that works for both of us. Usually it is the person who is either the best talker or the loudest or gives the best argument wins, and the other person is like, well, hell, all of my I just said just got thrown out the window and we still hasn't been addressed. So I think that's when that whole let's fight it out thing it's like, yeah, we can fight. All we did was just say how we feel. It has to come back to let's come up with the solution. So we're not gonna fight for the sake of fighting. Our end goal has to be at the end of this discussion, whether it takes 2 days or whether it takes 20 days, we got to come back to a solution, something that works for us, where we both walk away being heard, understood, and a solution that we can move forward and continue to build a happy relationship.
Practice makes perfect, even in arguing. You get better at it the more you do it. Just to be honest, if you do it with the intention of coming back, because I've seen relationships where they argue all the time, but at the end of the day, they don't really like each other. So that's a lot of the time when that happens, when you don't really have the communication skills to really come back and say, you know what, I like you too much to have you sitting around here walking around thinking that I don't. So because I do, I'm going to have this conversation with you. I'm going to see my stuff. I'm going to hear your stuff, and I'm going to fix it. You know what I mean? And I think we haven't gotten to a place where we're willing to practice with each other to say that I might have messed up with that, and I'm going to do better at that. And I think that's something that we both, men and women alike, have to do. We have to put more effort in being better at loving each other. When women get together, we talk about how awesome we are and how good we are, and we communicate, and it's this wonderful ebb and flow. I know me and Michelle will have 15 different conversations within the 30-minute conversation. We'll hop and skip all over the place. And that's just how we vibe. Men would be confused as hell to be on a third party listening to our conversation. But as you practice and you start to talk with someone, you understand what vibes with them, even when it comes to arguing. So you, like when me and James argue, I know we're going to holler for 15, 20 minutes. We're going to stomp around for about 15, 20 minutes, be quiet. I'm going to roll up. We're going to get together. We're going to talk together. We're going to be quiet. And then we'll talk. You know what I mean? Like, that is our process. But we've done that for a while. And I know that that's how we do it because at the end of the day, we like each other. Like, there's no other person that I'd rather sit at the end of the day and digress with other than James. So when we're mad, I still know I'm still going to have to, I still need this person to do my stuff with. So I'm going to have to make it okay so that we can come back and do our stuff. So I think we got to get real honest about, do we really like these people that we're saying we're going to do life with? You know, and sometimes they might not always be. About that.
I think to me, some of these issues, whether it's marriage or long term or girl or whatever, just like we preach to women, if it's not right to get out of there, we got to preach that same thing to men too. If you're crying more than smiling, it may be time to let it go.
Yeah.
Because to me, I just don't see how you have a deep connection with somebody that don't strive to just try to, like, I want the relationship where I'm fighting to outdo my partner. Like, I want to make you, I'm making you more happy than you make me today. Like that's how it should be.
Yeah.
So me and y'all have to move around. We got a comment.
Yes, we have a good one. You want me to read it? Jessica says, I said that I wasn't going to comment tonight, but I clearly lied. When it comes to me, I can now say that I enabled this behavior with an individual which granted him the permission to sit in that place of not needing more. It boiled down to my low self-esteem and feeling like I didn't have more to offer. But that was just one thing that I can personally take responsibility for. I'm grateful to have grown from that experience, though. Yes. That's the accountability that we got to start to take. You know what I mean? Like, I know I needed more, but I allowed this to happen. And he needed, when we needed more, I was comfortable in that. Shout out to Jessica for that. Appreciate that, sis.
And I want to do some men. I don't know if I would say, I don't know if I would use low self-esteem, but I'm almost wondering if some men who are leaders, who are in that macho place, who's everything to their family, but they're still missing something. If they don't feel like they deserve it because they're a man, like, is there some sort of, that's why I say I hate to say low self-esteem, because they may be good at everything else, but is there just some sort of, they think something is, they don't have the idea to feel that way. They don't have time for even just simple as that. I don't have time to be worried about my feelings because I got to take care of this stuff. Like, are men not feeling, to me, not feeling,
there's some truth to that,
either worthy enough, or that feeling that they need to have, or that need that they need to have taken care of is worthy enough.
I've learned for a man with the love language of providing, he even removes his own love languages. Like, he forgets that he needs to receive it in a way also. Like, I provide. That's what I do. And he's proud of that.
There's definitely truth to that. And I think that we do that. I think there's also the factor of, there's the factor we don't realize that there's something, and there's a factor that's something we don't know that we need to. So we will, and we don't think, it's almost like self-care. We don't realize we need self-care until we already.
That might just be another thing of a man too, like, just subconsciously not even realizing, maybe you did bring it up once. I mean, she could have forgotten, or, if it's like, if you transition to something else and she don't know you in that way, is it, are you making it as big of an issue as you think you are? Are you just, letting it be a small issue? So communicate. Look, if I ever get another relationship, I'm gonna be superwoman. You hear me?
Girl.
Because baby, we learning.
I've learned so much. Yes, I've learned so much.
Whoever snatched me up, baby, you was gonna have the best version of Kels
ever. I do want to mention, I know we get ready to wrap up, but I wanted to read Andre's last comment because I thought it was a good one. He mentioned that there's healing in the fight or argument. And I think that's true. I think that's something that we run from a lot of the times, because argument means something's broken or something's not right. And we don't really want to embrace, especially when we're talking about all our relationship stuff and how wonderful things are supposed to be. There is still healing in that space. If you like, that's where we come back to the whole, you have to like a person to want to make them feel all right at the end of the day. If you are a stranger to me, if I'm not concerned with how you really feel about a thing, I really couldn't care less if you feel warm and fuzzy after we finish an argument. Okay. Like, I don't really care. I said what I said, you said what you said, and here we are. But if this is the person that you love and you're doing life with, the goal should always be not to win solely. It's how are we going to come from this and win together? Like, how will we be better after this argument and know how to love each other better? So yes, there should absolutely be healing in that argument. Is it uncomfortable? Hell yeah. Is it not fun? Absolutely. Is it not the shining moment of your relationship? Yes. Is this going to be what you're going to talk about when y'all toasting at the next dinner party with the rest of your friends? Absolutely not. Okay. But it's going to allow you to still be at the table 15 years from now when y'all old and gray with your crew, toasting to the fact that you have withstood all of the ish together because you have had the opportunity to learn, love, grow, and live in a place where you open that space for you all to be. I think that is what that is. So yes, there's healing in the argument.
And I kind of add to that, and it starts in the dating phase.
Yes.
Early, you gotta start, like, you can't, like, you have to address that stuff from day one. Like, it has to be a culture that says we are going to talk about it, even if it means we're going to argue, but we're going to argue for the purpose of coming to a conclusion, coming to a resolution that works for both of us, not a resolution that works for me or for you, but for both of us. So Lene says, she said, there's healing in arguments. If what's triggered, the argument gets addressed and resolved. True.
Yeah, and I just with Lene saying that, when I was on the the training call we had last Friday was emotional literacy. Y'all, when I tell you this man broke down some stuff, I done been to tons of love language, psychology, Well, he learned me some things. I just cannot believe some of the stuff that he was going over that I said, we never connect those dots. I said, people, especially us in our culture, no shade to any other culture, but in the Black culture, y'all, we have to be taught how to have emotions and how to deal with the right way. Like he used an analogy that was so simple. I said, what? So simple. He said, you have all of these lights that come on in your car. And if a light come on, you run into the shop, you getting that fixed. He said, but you have, when you blowing up, if you depressed, if your stomach hurt, your head hurt, all of those are lights on your body. Yep. You will not have time to go figure out why are you doing that? Why is that causing you? And I was like, that's something that simple.
Yep.
And we don't even think of it like that. We don't think of, we take that one thing, I'm stressed and leave it at that. But why is you stressed? Because your body's telling you something else is wrong. So it may be something mental, it may be something physical, but we don't even we done learn the word trigger, but we ain't doing nothing with it but using it. We know.
We just keep pulling it.
Triggered other people. That's what we do. Yeah, we know we're learning that because that's not something we, focused on in the community. We just got to be real about it. That's not something we focused on growing up. This is new to us. Yeah. So, there's a lot more we have to learn that we just don't even know. We're not going to recognize and know it's a problem with us.
Yeah.
It's just a learning.
Yeah. Way to close us out.
Right.
Yes. I want to bring the man on the show.
We should go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, he was cold with it. He was talking about how just learning how to walk. He's not Black, but how one comment from a lady in a trainer taught him how he really don't understand about Black people, how he want to learn. It was just so deep. I was just like, this man needs to teach everybody how to live. He's
the world's life coach. He needs to be the world's life coach right now.
When you see him, just Mr. Rogers teaching emotional literacy. That's him.
Yeah.
But
let's get him on the show.
Let's get him. Yeah, we also need some. What else do we need? Oh, we need somebody who also, if y'all know anybody who has expertise, not you watch 2 YouTube videos, okay?
Because I watched 2 today and I still don't know. Okay, I watched 2 and I still don't know. So carry on.
About marriage in other cultures and in other religious contexts. Or outside of religion altogether. We looking for somebody who has specifically if they have it in like African tribal marriages as well. So hit one of us up because we want to talk about that too. So
we need to talk about that. It's not even a want at this point. We have got to talk about this.
Yeah, it's July. It's July mental Health Awareness Month. Did we forget? It's July mental awareness.
I think it is.
We might
the world is crazy right now. So we are in a consistent mental health loop at this point. Right. Like every month right now in 2020 is a mental health awareness month. Like straight up. All of them. Yeah. Okay, it's 10:01. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this thing on up. I did not say it at the beginning, but I want to encourage you guys all to go on over to elegancebydesign.com. I know right now we are in these heat waves and all this other. Many of our sisters got our hair up in braids. We wearing a twist and we're not trying to touch our hair. But I encourage you, I implore you to go to the website, because as it cools off here in these next few months, we start to get back to straightening our hair. It's okay, because we don't have to worry about doing it every other day, because it's cooled off, not sweating and carrying on. I say you need to go to Elegance by Design and get that Silk and Shine serum and that Afterglow spray to keep your flat irons on point. If you are still rapping and going, if you like them curls for the girls and you like that straight style every once in a while, I know we love our kinks and our curls. Y'all know I listen. I'm so happy my hair is back. But in that wintertime, it's one of the safest times for us to actually heat style our hair, because we do not have to do it as often as we do when it is warmer and we are sweating and there's more moisture in our hair. So to do that, I always say the wintertime is the best time to go straight. And when you do that, you still must always protect your hair. So do that with a good thermal protectant, which is that good Silk and Shine serum. And then you're going to make sure that you are shining, you are glossing, you are bouncing, you are behaving, and you are on point where you put it with that Afterglow Shine spray. It smells beautiful. It gives you a good glow, and your hair goes right back to curly after a good shampoo and condition, and you're good to go. So elegancebydesign.com for those two products. That is what you need in your sexy survival kit. If you like to switch your change on them, you don't let them get bored around here at Elegance by Design. You can be a new bitch every day. You can hop out on them new every day. That's all I got.
All right, what you got?
I'm just be on the lookout for the new website. Hopefully Saturday, no later than Saturday, it'll be launched. Tane dresses and maxi dresses should be in the store hopefully by this weekend, and on the website with the launch. So yeah, Curvy Kitten trying to bring y'all the hotness for the fall.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Come on through, tatted tank model. Yes. She's my new babe. I like her.
Yes.
Win, leave me alone.
Look.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna be quiet now. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay.
Again,
bring all the boys to yard.
If you got a Black Book of Business, go to the Facebook group and join now. For our business owner, and you are committed to quality service, we want you to be a part of the Little Black Book of Business. So go again. If you're a business owner, or if you are a customer, somebody who wants to support Black-owned businesses who are committed to superior customer service, go to our Facebook group, sign up for the email list, and be a part of it today. Final comments, of course. Listen, we talked about a lot of heavy stuff tonight, and that's what we do. So thank you all for participating. Thank you for every comment. Thank you for being with us through the show and rolling with us. Tonight was really good. I hope that you walk away from this better. I hope that you walk away from this with some things that you can talk about in your own relationship. I would love, it would mean the world to us if you and your significant other sat down and said, hey, tonight they talked about this. Tell me, what does this look like in our relationship? How are we doing? Can we learn to fight better? Can we learn to, are there some things for me that you need that I'm not providing you? That is the purpose of our conversation. So I hope that you, as you sat here with us, you enjoyed yourself, you had fun, but I hope that you come from this and you get better, because our goal is to change a generation by raising the congregation. So we love y'all. We appreciate you. Listen, Justin, I do this for a living, baby. I do this for a living.
He brought a full circle in.
I live it. What they tell you.
I thought we got to open the doors of the church and altar call.
Listen, if y'all, and also just like when you see us advertising our business, we want to advertise your business. Mm-hmm. So let me, if you want to advertise with us, you will see, just like you see us advertising Curvy Kitten, Little Black Book Business, and Elegance by Design, we can do the same for your product. Kels Q, I absolutely love you too. I appreciate you all and what you do. I appreciate you all wrestling these discussions and us having these conversations. I appreciate the crazy conversations we have privately that no one will ever see. I appreciate, y'all see them. Unless we decide, y'all have to pay us real good to see some of them conversations. Right. But I promise you, it is those conversations. For you all that don't know, it is the conversations we have in private that make the conversations in public happen. Because I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that them two ladies right there ride for your boy. And so I appreciate that. And because of that, we create this great show. So we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We'll be back next Tuesday for another dope show. Like the Facebook page, like the Instagram page. We about to go home.
YouTube, appreciate you, YouTube. Y'all came through on the comments. We appreciate you.
Facebook. Y'all better do it.
You just gave it, you just gave it. Why you standing here? I just say you're with me. You think you try to take it in. So I try to keep it low when you knock me to the floor. Cause I don't know. Would you believe this love is so and would you take this long, sweet road and pull it together? Baby, if this is goodbye, I want you just can't give up. Can't you see the tears in my eyes? Cause I'm try to give me one try. This is goodbye.